Welcome back into the ACC Wrestling Championships at Reynolds Coliseum on the campus of NC State University in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm Darren Vaught. Christian Olenowski is with me. Christian, we have a look at how things have shaken out for these programs to this point in the day as we approach the Consolation Semifinals. NC State really running away with it with those 8 finalists.
Yeah, they've really had their way early in the day. 8 out of 10 finalists. They've won just about every close match you can. You know, they've suffered 2 losses on the day, but, you know, they've really flexed their muscles here and defended their home turf.
Down to the 157s, NC State's Ed Scott, Dejan Casto of Pittsburgh.
So 3 NCAA qualifiers at this weight class. And both of these 2 were qualifiers last year. Casto for the Citadel, round of 12 last year. Scott was ACC champion last year, and he could be on the outside looking in here.
He's got to get by Casto. Get to that 3rd place bout. Casto shoots low. Scott regains the advantage there briefly.
And Casto did a real good job with that high underhook.
Scott's got the single, trying to bring Casto down. Nothing there.
And he's looking to turn that corner, but kind of stuck here with that overhook. Oh, and nice little scramble there. Looked like both guys could have been in danger at one point or another.
This is a lot different from the past few bouts we've seen. But it seems to me like both Scott and Casto trying to play the role of the aggressor. A little less cat and mouse, just a little more in your face from these 2.
I think both, oh, nice hard club for Ed Scott. Yeah, I think both of these guys know what's at stake here, right? You've got to win this one to even put yourself in a position to qualify for NCAAs. And not to predict the future, but I think regardless of how this match plays out, I think the loser of this one will get an at-large bid from the selection committee. That both of their resumes warrant a selection. I know neither of them wants to have that happen, but it's inevitable at this point. So front headlock position. Scott doing a good job controlling that right elbow. So we're going to stop it here. 30 seconds left in the first. And Scott was looking to lock his hands there on that. He's got a really good headlock to the left side. So scoreless in the first, but not for a lack of action. So choice to the second. Casto initially said, I want neutral, but officials said, you know, let's go bottom. And something I've seen from top to bottom out of the NC State wrestlers today is they ride with a purpose. They do not give up easy escapes.
As is very clear by that maneuver there by Ed Scott.
They really put an emphasis on strong, tough, hard-nosed riding, not giving up easy escapes, looking for near fall on top.
Scott just bearing down on Casto from before the whistle.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed these guys do a real good job of is they ride on that claw really hard, and just like there you saw what Scott do with his left foot, outside foot hooks, and then they almost like reinforce it. Oh, and to a body lock position.
Casto up and then out. So we'll get another reset here with no score.
So there's something technically I've noticed a lot of is these claws, hooking the foot, riding that ankle, double thigh pry, getting, stopping that first move. Scott's going to go double thigh pry, yep, and then goes to a claw. Double thigh pry, claw, and then that left foot's going to hook. And keeps the feet inside. Good look at right there, hooks the foot. Keeps weight on that outside hip. And he's got that wrist now. If Scott does a real good job, he pressures one way, hops the other. Casto getting broken down flat, and maybe one of those, times when Casto says, I wish I didn't listen to my coaches. I wish I would have just went neutral. Right, because whenever you wrestle a guy from NC State, you got to respect their top game, understand how good they are on top.
Yeah, unable to score out of it yet, but Scott in clear control through much of the second.
So 2 minutes of riding time in Ed Scott's back pocket. So I don't want to say he's got riding time locked up, but certainly in his favor. Casto got to ride for at least a minute to erase that riding time point. And he
got an immediate escape. That's our first score of this bout. Casto needs to chip away. Riding time becomes ever so important.
Well, it's essentially a 2-0 lead here. You got about 20 seconds left until that riding time point secured. So if you're Casto, what's your go-to takedown? So riding time is officially locked up now. 2-0 lead.
Casto pulls it out, and a stall warning against Casto.
I like that call, right? I mean, Scott's in on the legs. Casto finds a way to make his, make it to the edge.
You said if you're Casto, you go with your go-to shot here. Is Scott even opening himself up to that kind of option?
This is they always say in order to master a technique, you got to do it 10,000 times, right? So what is that move, Dejan, that you have practiced 10,000 times in your life, and you can hit on just about anyone?
Scott fights him off. Closing seconds. Scott gets 2 for the road.
So
4-0. The victory for Ed Scott, who moves to the 3rd place bout. We'll step aside before moving forward with the 165s, the Consolation Semis of the ACC Wrestling Championships. with you from Reynolds Coliseum. ACC Wrestling Championships. We're on to the second half of the Consolation Semifinals. With Christian Olenowski, I'm Darren Vaught. We're through the 157s and we make our way to 165, where over here on this mat we've got Joseph Mazzara of North Carolina against Maddie Singleton of NC State.
And this one here is a matchup of age versus beauty. Fifth-year senior versus a true freshman. Mazzara, the veteran, but Singleton, just the young buck, one of the top wrestlers in the nation last year, out of Georgia.
Yeah, four-time state champion.
From Woodward Academy. Yeah, so, you know, real storied program. And you know, hearing Coach Papalizio say one of the reasons that he transitioned so well into college this year was because of one of the Bullard brothers decided not to take their 6th year of eligibility last year, and they went back to Woodward, and they, you know, were in the room a couple days a week and training with Maddie. And the one thing I noticed against McCoy in the semifinals was, you know, you could still tell that Singleton is kind of a spring chicken, right? He's still young. He kind of, I don't want to say inexperienced, but like you could just see McCoy was so savvy, and you know, the years of experience competing in the college postseason really just paid off for him. He, you know, McCoy rode tough and won the scrambles against Singleton, but you know, I think this is a guy who's got a really, really bright future, but his future won't last long this season unless he gets a victory here over his foe from down the road. I'm not a geography guy, but what do you say? These campuses are separated by about 15 or so miles, maybe 20 miles?
Yeah, maybe closer to 20, 25.
Or as I like to say in the Raleigh area, a Tar Heel minute, everything is 40 minutes away.
You've got a good grasp. You've got a good grasp on the area here then. That's what that sounds like.
We'll call that a Tar Heel minute.
Singleton issued the stall warning there. So the two will reset. Pat Papalizio,
I think he just
clarification. Yeah,
I think he just wanted to invite the official over for Thanksgiving dinner. Hey, what are you doing on Thanksgiving? You want to come to my house? Something tells me that's not what he was at.
As nice of a guy as we know Pop to be, I do not believe that was the case.
Well, it looks like Singleton kind of jammed his thumb there on that snap, and the looks like the official like kind of making him call it. So are they gonna call stalling? What's going stalling on Green?
Yeah, so that's going to be on Mazzara.
I'm not following. That's okay. All righty, back to action. 44 seconds left in the first period. It looked like, I mean, Mazzara got Singleton all the way to the edge. Singleton jammed his finger. It looked like they were possibly going to call Singleton for stalling. And they stopped it for like an injury time, but Singleton didn't call injury time, so.
Singleton trying to break free. Mazzara flips him over. Nothing there yet, and there's the 2 points for the takedown from Mazzara.
And Singleton rolls through looking for a reversal, but wow, somehow Mazzara stays on top.
That is an incredible effort to close out the first by Mazzara to not get reversed.
That right there was a 4-point ride. Mazzara used the, you know, something that Singleton's seen probably far too many times, being a teammate of Trent Hidley. Over under position, drops to a knee, jacks the underhook up, pulls that left arm down on that whip over. But that right there at the end of the first period was huge. Right, I call that a 4-point ride, because you keep your 2-point lead instead of evening up the score. So that's a 4-point swing right there.
Out of bounds.
Mazzara is just finding the trickiest little ways of staying on top, like pushing to the edge and kind of rolling through on that leg.
Well, you saw the official. That was very close to being the red wristband up in the air for one.
Yeah, it was close, but no cigar. Singleton to his feet, fighting the hands, trip from Mazzara, but and Singleton getting a little chippy. He's like, man, get off of me. Mazzara's like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to, bro. We came to wrestle. I want to stay on top. Does a good job of following through, and Singleton says, get out of here.
Well, there's Singleton finally getting the escape.
Paparizio may have invited the official over for Thanksgiving dinner. I don't believe Singleton will invite Mazzara over for Thanksgiving dinner. Although we do have other holidays in between, so maybe the 4th of July party. So 2-1 after Mazzara builds 46 seconds of riding time. And this is what I love more than anything. Those guys just standing right on top of the ACC wrestling logo, hand fighting. I call it fighting in a phone booth. And a single leg for Singleton.
Right to the very edge.
And here you got to get that foot off the mat, because here you're still fighting the head-hands defense of Mazzara, doing a good job of keeping his head in there. Singleton tries to lift the foot and wrestle on the edge. And one thing I will tell you, if I had $1 for every time I heard these, whoa!
And that one is also out of bounds.
Just a couple weeks away from freestyle season, folks. In freestyle, that's a 4-point move. But in folk style, we just get a couple oohs and ahs. That's a little judo whip over for Mazzara. Mazzara, the Vegas guy. I think maybe he learned a little bit of judo at Randy Couture's MMA school or something.
Yeah, to Bishop Gorman High School.
And
that concludes the second. 2-1 remains the lead for Mazzara.
You don't typically hear, Las Vegas being a wrestling powerhouse, but they're really starting to come along. Gold Rush Wrestling Academy, run by former NCAA finalist Chase Pammy. And there's another one, I think it's like ACA or something like that, run by a guy who is a former Triple Crown winner, Val Rouser. Jade's out in Montana, but Val's, running an academy out there, and as a club coach myself, I really just love to see the growth of club wrestling across the country, because really just see a really big opportunity to help out these untapped markets. And chin whip.
2 for Singleton. Foot is still in. And it's out now.
Wow.
And he's rewarded the 4.
And Singleton, just a little bit of swagger to him after that, pushing towards the edge, double leg by Mazzara. And if you love third grade wrestling, here we go, chin whip. Oh man, I'll never forget when I got hit with that move in 6th grade. Still haunts me to this day.
Seems like something that would make quite the impression long term. That's a big swing for Matty Singleton, and he gets 2 more there.
Mazzara little bit of desperation, but not at this level. Not with a guy of this caliber. And a escape and runs his feet. So 9-4 now. And this right here is, you know, kind of where you look yourself in the mirror, say, what do I got? Right, be like Elon Musk walking into the headquarters of Twitter just with everything but a kitchen sink.
Literally the kitchen sink.
Literally the kitchen sink.
Let's see what that includes for Joey Maz.
Shot attempt for Singleton. This is where you hit a peek out, right elbow back, sit through.
Stalemate with Singleton atop. Mazzara running out of time.
This is where, you know, you need a little bit of just desperation. Like, what can I do here? Throw a headlock.
There he goes, shooting low.
And this is where you're Singleton, you just bail, right? You give it up.
Yeah, Mazzara gets the 2 points there for the takedown.
And this is here, headlock. He was giving it to you, protect your neck.
Now 10-6, and that will be the final. Great effort from Matty Singleton, who advances to the 3rd place bout.
So the freshman looked for an opportunity to make it 10 for the Wolfpack going to NCAAs.
Our coverage continues as part of the 2023 ACC Wrestling Championships from Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina, as we bring you the ACC Wrestling Championship Consolation Finals with so much on the line. Talking about this man right here, Mike Machiavello. NC State wrestler, 184 from 13 to 17, 2017 qualifier. 2017 All ACC, ranked number 12 nationally at 184.
Ed Scott here coming up on mat 1. Part of the Wolfpack here. Versus Andonian. He's wrestling for UVA. Let's see who Ed's got from UVA. I'm drawing a blank on the name. My apologies, UVA.
That resume made me nuts because I've been talking about you at 197 all day. It was 197 where you won the Natty.
Yeah, so they didn't put the national championship up there, but I think they're trying to mess with me.
Man, I was on a spit out right there.
No, the national championship was at 197 pounds.
That's what I'm talking about, my man.
My first 4 years were at 184 pounds, and the first year I went up to 197. I was able
Beast mode.
Yes, I was able to win that at 197. So it was close to my natural body weight. I probably weighed in the off season like 210. So it was just a better fit for me. And
yeah. That's why, again, your name is hanging in the rafters forever. I mean, how cool is that going to be when you, somewhere down the road, can bring your kids in here, man? And I know you're not a braggy type guy, but the pride you'll have to show that, I mean, that's going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I'll be, it's definitely something I'm proud of, you know. So I'm thankful that I'll be able to show something like that, you know, to my kids one day. And
well, we got your roommate here.
Yep, nice dunk.
He's got 2 with the dunk.
The funny part is, I'm sure my kids would be like, not even gonna care.
So this is important here, folks, as we are rolling along. at 157.
Nice dunk.
For the marbles.
Beautiful job there by Ed Scott with that dunk.
Ed Scott, the 3 seed.
He does a really good job switching knees to get to the dunk. So I don't know if they're going to show another replay, but if they do, I'll kind of point it out. But he takes that underhook, he bites down with an inside tie, he hits the sweep single, and he comes up to his feet and creates a lot of tension. And as soon as he releases and drops to his right knee, so he hits his left knee to get to the single, and then as soon as he comes up and he switches knees to his right knee, it releases all this tension that gets built up, and he can dump him to the right. It's pretty slick.
Yeah. We got a blood break here as Keating also lost his contact. So blood and contact, double whammy, as you see Scott. And this one is huge because there's 3 AQs out of 157. And if Scott wins this, that will guarantee 9 NC State wrestlers are headed to Tulsa. 8 are already in the finals tonight.
That's back points. I'm surprised the ref didn't swipe sooner than that. I don't know what took so long, but I think that's at least a 2 count at the very least. That'd be interesting. I'd love to see that back again if the refs decided. I don't think the coach is going to throw a block, but ref racking up his Ed racking up his riding time here. And Ed's always been tough on top. He does a really good job with the claw, switching and floating to the other sides of the body. Got a cross wrist. Now, great job. And now looking for a tilt.
There it is. The crowd going crazy. 4.
Great job getting the 4 count there by Ed Scott to build his lead from 2-0 to 6-0. Now with riding time. Nice.
Ed Scott came into the ACC tournament with a 14-6 record.
Looks like he's going to finish this period on top. 10 seconds left. What a lead. We might see some bonus points here from Ed Scott here in the Consi Finals for 3rd place.
Yeah, we feel like because of wrestling like Scott, NC State's going to win their 5th ACC tournament in a row. Good work there by Scott.
Really great wrestling by Ed there.
From the state of Pennsylvania. He beat Keating 13-5 back on February 3rd. Scott pinned Logan Ferrero to start, and he is racking up points here.
8-0 lead with the riding time, 9-0. Ed lets him go. Looks like Ed's going to try and put him on it, put it on him here. Underhook, Ed's great here. So what he's got to do is he's got to keep going around. I would go back behind, hand behind, but you see how he's elevated the ankle and shoved it on his far side hip? That's good job there. It kind of stops Keating from being able to wrestle out of the position and square up. Kind of forces him to wrestle from that overhook in that seatbelt position, but
Scott telling Mock earlier today that he was hoping to take down Andonian. He did not. He lost 15-9. But
came out strong though.
Yeah, 2-0.
Got the first score.
That would be wild if somehow he would end up facing Andonian some way in Tulsa, particularly based on your story of winning the national championship against Virginia.
That would be awesome.
Does he ask you much about that time in Cleveland winning the Natty?
We've had a lot of talks. We've had a lot of good talks. Yeah, no, he does a good job. He wants to win. He wants to be the best. He wants to be a national champion.
Ooh, got himself in trouble there. got to spin out of it. Oh,
good job fighting off his back there.
Oh, you
sometimes
head there for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. That could have been, he could have been big trouble there, but good job staying composed and fighting through and rolling off of his back. You know, sometimes there's and that's college wrestling. Sometimes you give scores that you don't expect to give up, but you're not wrestling against slouches. Even if you're dominating the majority of the match, you give a guy opportunity, he's going to take it. And so you got to minimize the amount of errors that you make.
That's what he did. He only gave up the 2. He minimized it. That's well said, Mach. Break it down here.
That could have been very bad. Good job by Eddie.
All right, so we had a 2-box for a moment for a reason, because Singleton is taking on Heller at 165 in the consolation final over on mat 2. And why is that important? Well, if somehow Singleton can knock off the #1 seed, which won't be easy, then that will guarantee all 10 wrestlers, which has been done before. But it's certainly nice to do it again, to send all 10 to Tulsa.
Absolutely, and an amazing accomplishment to be able to say as a program, all 10 of our guys are going to the NCAA tournament. Nice, good job running corners, switching off, doubling off, keeping your head tight. Got to finish this, get your hips in. He's got to get his hips in, build up. Now, Keating initiated that a little bit by trying to take him through. Didn't have it tight enough, and now Singleton and Heller over here in an exchange on the edge. And
Singleton just...
There's a chance they could give him 2.
I'm telling you, Heller went right at him, and Singleton battled out of it. Mach, it was, he was lucky that Heller didn't pick up 2 more points, battled out of it. So to keep it at 2-1 in the first, wow, keeps his hopes alive. Both of these, so we got 157 on mat 1 and 165 mat 2, 3 AQs. So both matches that you're seeing on your ACC Network Extra stream featuring the home team, NC State, Mach's alma mater, involve a trip to Tulsa.
Nice, good job by Ed Scott getting in on another single leg attempt here. Now here, Ed's got to get his left hip down, and he's got to use his right foot to drive, to isolate and keep right on that leg, keep it locked out. But Keating did a good job squaring his hips up, not letting Ed get that last takedown. Nonetheless, Ed with a bonus point win, major decision. For those that don't know, major decision is a win by an 8-point margin or greater. So,
more importantly, he's headed to Tulsa with 8 of his teammates. We'll wonder if it's 9. We'll be back with more coverage on ACC Network Extra. Stay with us.
So tough to watch these athletes overcome with emotion, put so much into this, and fall short of their goal.
Now we move on to the 165s, 3rd place match. It's Maddie Singleton of NC State and Holden Heller of Pittsburgh. Heller came in as the 1 seed. Defeated by Brady of Virginia Tech. And here he is, trying to get 3rd place and qualify automatically for the NCAAs.
And this is one of those weights that, you know, like I call it like a snow globe weight. Like you shake it up and you're going to get something different every time, right? If you were to wrestle this 165-pound weight class tomorrow, I could almost guarantee you the way the top 6 fell would be different than it was today, right? And if you wrestle it the next day, you're going to get a different result then. So all these guys are razor thin.
Yeah, the margins between them. Connor Brady, the 4 seed, Maddie Singleton, the 3. I mean, what's the What's the difference between the two, right? That's an example, and they're just both really, really tough competitors, as is Heller, who came in as the one. Tries against Singleton there. Nothing. Rewarded points line.
And Singleton going upper body. Heller trying to make his way to the out-of-bounds line, but does a great job, just continues to wrestle through the position, and he may score a takedown here. And
1 foot inbounds, and now they're out. But that is a great example of what this weight class can be, sort of the competitive nature of it. And that first it was Singleton trying to use the border to his advantage. Then he got flipped around by Heller, but both defended well enough to prevent anything to be scored.
Oh, and takes him to his back, does Heller.
Heller gets 2. Singleton trying to roll out of it. And a near fall with 4.
Just one of those things, you know, you see Singleton going upper body, trying to go for broke. You still got 5 minutes of wrestling left. Be patient. All right, and, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You know, so
that was a big bite for Holden Heller. Extends the lead to 7. And now Singleton will get attended to. Some bleeding, maybe a small laceration. Quite the start for Heller. Again, I mean, it's tough to come into something like this as the #1 seed, then suffer a loss. Bouncing back from that. But there is that understanding. You finish 3rd, you're in. You're going to Tulsa.
yeah, and you know, as a coach and an athlete, right? You always know you lose. Next best thing, right? Next best thing. You walk off the mat off that semifinals loss. Right, next best thing, 3rd place. 3rd place. You can't win the tournament. You can't get 2nd, right? But you can still get 3rd, right? You could still battle back. You can get your team some points, right? You can earn yourself an opportunity to wrestle for another 2 weeks. And that's the beauty of this sport, right? It defines character to the highest level. Right? How do you respond to adversity? How do you respond when things don't go your way? Well, you get the next best thing, and that's just the most perfect analogy of life.
We resume to conclude the first. Heller trying for another takedown, doesn't get it. And we're through 3 minutes.
Heller choosing Middle Leaders to start the second on mat 2.
So Heller to his feet relatively quickly, but Singleton brings him back down, hooks that foot, and oh, he's got a far side cradle maybe. Oh,
Singleton.
And this is really,
Strength.
this is where the NC State guys really, like, they bridge the gap. They are really, they put a strong emphasis on top. And it might not be, it might not always be pretty, but it's certainly gritty.
There you go, you rhymed. I knew you could do it.
Yeah, see, I got one. Oh, and he got it. Oh.
Wow, that is a couple really close calls. 2 on the takedown for Singleton, and he draws it within 5.
Now he's building his riding time. So here, you get a turn, you're tied. I mean, you get a turn, you're really down by a point, but riding time is in your favor if you ride out this period. Uh-oh, he's got that forearm, looking for a cradle. He's got to pull him back, tilt him up. There it is.
Four being signaled for Singleton. There it goes. With the riding time, that would tie it at 8, and the time just hit a minute for Matty Singleton. This just got very interesting heading into the third.
And that body lock. They just squeezed the life out of Heller.
Under 2 minutes to go. Thin margins. That ride time is at exactly 1 minute for Singleton as well.
And the Wolfpack have 8 in the finals. Ed Scott got a win in the third place match at 157 pounds. And if Matt Singleton wins here, that'll be 10 for 10 for the Wolfpack going to Tulsa. And I don't know of many coaches who have had more wrestlers or more teams that have qualified 10 wrestlers for the NCAA tournament than Pat Popolizio has on a consistent basis.
There are your Wolfpack chants. Crowd getting behind Matty Singleton. Here in the third.
And Heller avoids giving up a takedown. Somehow it ends up on the leg. Wow, what a scramble.
This is quite the matchup between these two. Heller shoots low. Singleton not having it.
Oh, wow.
And a takedown for Heller.
And a takedown here wins it for Singleton.
Two seconds, 1 second, 0. Heller narrowly escapes.
Wow. Great match. Singleton left it all out there, but Heller going to be victorious, and he's going to move on to the NCAA championship at 165 pounds.
Which sets up for tonight, 7 o'clock on the ACC network, where you'll see all 5 of these guys going for it.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be awesome.
What are you most looking forward to as you see those 5 guys in tonight's championship, 7 o'clock ACC network?
Man, selfishly, the environment. As a competitor, I love when the environment is electric, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I think the environment tonight is going to be the most electric it's ever been for the ACC tournament, and I'm excited for these guys because when the environment's electric, the competition is incredible because guys will raise their level. They feed off of the energy of the crowd and the fans that are here, and I think it's just going to be awesome.
All right, well done. I want to thank Alex Week, Justin, Josh, Matt, and the entire gang, and the great Mock, as reminding you that at 7 o'clock on ACC Network, NC State trying to put a bow on 5 straight ACC tournament championships. They've got 8 wrestlers in the finals. 7 o'clock on ACC Network with the great Sean Kenny and Rock Harrison. For the Mock, I'm Dean Linke saying so long. Enjoyed our time here in Raleigh. Thanks for watching our coverage of the 2023 ACC Wrestling Tournament Championship on ACC Network Extra.